Where things are crumbling around us, and when we try to deny it, or where we seek to distract ourselves from it, it is in this way that we invite shadows of self-deception into our lives. It is in this way that we find it difficult to see. Within the shadows, we grow cynical. We feel distrustful of anyone campaigning to lead us, or to anyone that comes with some pitch. What are they trying to sell us? What scam are they trying to pull? These are the understandable, reticent expressions of those who have had their trust abused one too many times. The shadows are a breeding ground for fear and paranoia. For we do not know and cannot see what may be coming, but we feel its presence. We half expect some end of days apocalyptic judgment to befall us, as though we expect our fate and our end. But massive change need not be about the end of everything. It need not be so much about damnation for most, with elevation for the righteous few. Such an idea has something rather antisocial at its core, born of a time when Scripture was first recorded, when you had to stick with your tribal group, as rivals would kill you on sight. An alternative lesson or interpretation to take from Scripture regarding the end of time might be that what comes to an end is a way of being. In a way, those big tsunami realities that loom force us to an end, for we, humanity, have been divided against ourselves for far too long, and the challenges before us require a unity of ourselves. In fact, we can no longer afford to set on one another over petty things when such existential threats loom. There is an eye-opening reality with crisis of scale. If you look to the original Greek meaning of the word apocalypse, you discover that it means the lifting of the veil. It is revelation of truth. We should have known this all along, but we are rather dense with our pride at times. The truth is, we always were in this together, for richer or poor. It has just taken the risk of ultimate societal death to make us admit it. There is much within Revelation as a theme for our time. Absolutely, there is the much needed, indeed required, unity of humanity. There is also the revelation of the individual human being, the latent and unrealized potential, the splinter in the mind that knows there must be more to life. Life should not be pointless. We long to feel its meaning. Truth is easy to miss because we are in conflict. We may catch wind of some truth, but before long we suspect it. We doubt, and then truth runs through our open hands like dry, fine sand. The truth is, or it may be, that truth is in conflict with this world. The world we have made for ourselves, with all of the dramatic distractions, opposes truth, which does not come with a lightning bolt, but very often just sneaks up on you. We expect our revelations to be dramatic because we are conditioned to expect as much. But what if it is subtle and cumulative? Bit by bit the thing assembles. It reveals itself to the quieter mind that is at peace within. That is a clue. The mind that is never at rest, but has the attention pulled this way and that in a never-ending tug of war, is like a mind being riven apart from within. Without quiet, the mind is in continual turning, and things must fall apart. The center cannot hold. There is the risk of some form of insanity in this noise of so many things all at once. One cannot be a searcher without beginning from some place of quiet. In stillness, a truth will find you. It is a truth because it will be what you need it to be. It takes the unique form to align with the uniqueness of you. This is all well and good, but I suspect you may need an actual taste. Let us step away for a time from the cryptic play with the idea of truth. Consider a human being from the biological perspective. As we live, we breathe, drink, eat, sleep, and seek comfort and intimate belonging, we act, largely automatically, in the interests of self-preservation. The healthy body does all the above in an attempt to maintain homeostasis, so that the body may be healthy, so that the genetic code might be passed on and preserved for the next generation. A body centered and in balance is inherently at homeostasis. There are all manner of assaults all the time, but a healthy body can usually and quickly right itself. And you know what they say? Healthy body, healthy mind. The tough part is taking time for oneself. It is so easy to let your time become filled or even overfilled. It is almost like a badge of honor that when someone asks how things are going, we respond with, "Oh, I'm so busy." That overly busy person, however, is likely to miss out on the subtle truths and the joys of knowing that can come to the quiet mind. Let us then imagine, if we are not able to experience the quiet mind directly, if biological homeostasis is synonymous with optimal health of body and mind, then it ought to be unsurprising that a person existing in that balanced state might be predisposed to all manner of insights. An individual existing in healthy homeostatic balance is in this way a microcosm of how a compassionate and connected community is. In both cases, that for the individual and that for the community, a potential can only be discovered after the precondition of peace and harmony is met. Not rocket science. You've probably heard such a thing 1,000 times before regarding an individual's body and mental health, or health of a community. And you have probably heard the prescription too for an individual. Take the time to quiet the mind. Mindfulness training is very much in vogue these days, as are several forms of integrative practice like yoga or Tai Chi. An integrative practice is one that syncs body and mind with methodical movement. It is moving meditation. The trouble occurs when you do not necessarily seek actual transformation, but we do a thing because it is fashionable, because all the cool people that we admire are doing it. That kind of motivation lacks commitment. It's like being a tourist. In order to truly get the dividends, you've got to give yourself to the journey. You've got to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Doing a thing from a vantage of safety is like seeking to keep happy because the world is a scary place that you'd rather not pay much attention to. The ignorance is bliss type happiness. At times, when you give yourself to the journey, you will feel uncomfortable. But in the place of some discomfort, there is the residence of truth. Just in case you're scratching your head on this and advocating for giving yourself to a thing to the point of vulnerability idea, let's look at precedent. In all manner of things, ground-breaking innovations have, more often than not, come from a place of some vulnerability. It is not that the innovators lacked for tools. Specifically, they have probably had the prepared mind that could seize the day, or carpe diem, when they saw the opportunity. But they have usually been in a place of some vulnerability. The vulnerability functions as a kind of push. It is the experience where necessity is the mother of invention. The thing we are looking at for here is the quieter mind, the commitment to a real experience of the quiet, to see what comes, what truth, if any. There is a vulnerability inherent in attempting this for the overly busy person, because the busy life is the known. It's the devil, you know. But this being busy isn't solving much of anything. So trying something different might just be the medicine we need. In that experience of vulnerability, the break from your normal patterns, the thing that just might be discovered is deeper understanding of yourself. It harkens back to a statement from Socrates near the origin point of Western philosophy. He said, "Know thyself." And also from Socrates, sounding more critical, yet arguing for the same self-knowledge, which for our purposes we can take as a push, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Who among us might take such a risk of vulnerability? Often it is the mentally tough, not to be confused with the unyielding, stubborn zealot of ideology that likes the sound of his own voice. No, it is the person that believes enough in that splinter in the mind voice to give it an honest try. Another type of person that lacks the mental toughness are those raised with the silver spoon, never having had to work for anything and raised with daily confirmation of entitlement. Such a person may even lack the inner voice, the splinter in the mind. But we can take heart, for the majority are neither zealots nor of ideology, nor silver spoon trust fund dandies. No, most can appreciate the importance of self-knowledge as discovered through some vulnerability. And actually, it is an argument advocating a return to something more natural. For we think that being overly busy is our natural. But without the quiet time, it is not. Without the quiet for the mind, there is no balance, no homeostasis, no optimal functioning. Do you see? Give it an honest go, and a committed one, and you may begin to see. Enough individuals so committed will begin to be a transformative counterforce to those looming tsunamis. For we do not know what will come out of living the way our bodies and minds were meant to live. But we can say that it would be a better and a greater good. And so to the apocalypse, in the sense that it means ultimate end or doom, we can say nay. To the sense that it means a revelation as compelled by the looming threats that awaken us to our true natures, we can say it is about time.
Good morning. Good morning for me, that is. I record these things, the personal parts, when the house is quiet. So I keep talking about massive change, particularly the unavoidable tsunami-type changes, and I have largely done so within the confines of an argument as it relates to society or civilization. Individual life experience is what preoccupies most of us, however, and I am no different in this. I simply see my own life and the lives of others within a larger social context. In my own life, I have recently alluded to the experience of having gone through change, and I am still going through significant change. Until recently, I was involved as a partner in a family business that I did full-time for the better part of 25 years. We had to do some serious self-evaluation as to the future viability of the business, given some impending changes within our industry. Our conclusion was that it made more sense to fold up our business rather than to reinvest and modernize, given the uncertainties with the industry going forward. The likelihood was a very real possibility of reduced returns rather than increased profit margin. We felt that this was something that we did not want to risk, especially with taking on debt if we were to modernize. As difficult a decision as it was to end a family business with the additional emotional investment, there was the pressing need to face reality. Does that qualify me to be able to critique the larger realities of civilization? I can only say that larger realities are so readily apparent that there ought to be more people calling attention to them. Perhaps I can see what's coming just a little better than most because of my own life's changes, but additionally, as the life changes were increasingly impending for me, I also discovered a motivation to think about the long term with increasing scrutiny. That motivation is a living one. My young daughter. Bye for now.